Yo, Banter fam, what is happening? Big question, big question. Is the pullback starting? Because what we're starting to see is the market is going sideways. If you have a look over here, we're starting to trend sideways. We're not having this massive continuation. Now, the big question we got to ask ourselves is, firstly, are we losing momentum? Are the bulls starting to lose a little bit of steam? And maybe are we finally going to get that quick pullback, not a bearish pullback? We've broken high time frame structures over the last 2-3 weeks. We've obviously been ramping and getting through major areas. And we've broken the 200-day moving average on Bitcoin. And a test of that is fine. We've always said many times. So it's not a bearish pullback, but are we going to have that pullback so we can be getting entries a lot lower than currently where the market's sitting at right now? Or is the market busy going sideways, getting the whole world to think a pullback's coming, and then they bring out the ultimate bear trap and ultimately send Bitcoin to the $23,000 level? Now, this is big, guys. So what I'm doing in the show is we're going to go through this chart and we're going to go through many others to see the different scenarios. Because for me, the pullback has begun. Now, maybe the pullback may only be 1%. We will soon see that. But I will have the emergency lines to show you that, okay, the market's tricking that a pullback's coming. But first, we've got one more leg up. I'm going to show you exactly how we're going to detect that. And secondly, what I'm going to do as well is if we look at the altcoins, and I want to show you this, reason why I'm saying pullback is starting. Because Bitcoin has lost that momentum line. But then you look at something like Solana, completely losing the momentum line. Then you look at a few of the altcoins, AVAX starting to possibly lose that line. Many of them are starting. So what we're starting to see is the altcoins already starting. Some of the altcoins are starting their pullbacks at the moment. And we have Bitcoin slightly moving below that momentum line, ultimately giving us an early little signal. So we're going to go through where are these possible pullback levels for the altcoins. What are my favorite altcoins that I'm buying on the pullback if it plays out beautifully? We have in about 3 hours or 2 hours, we have some volatility coming and hitting the market. So we need to be prepared for that and get our limit orders nice and set. Or where are breakout levels? Because I have beautiful trend lines now to say, this is the momentum we're moving to the downside now. And if we crack that, we're no longer getting the big pullback we're expecting and the market's going up. Are we going to have another 20-30% up first? Guys, massive show. No more wasting times. James, smash the button.
Click, click. Have you heard the news? What? With his finger on the pulse, it's like Sheldon knew. Click, click. When the sniper shoots, we got Sheldon on the chart, so we never lose. Enter the sniper, sharpshooter advisor. Enter the sniper, he marks the charts right. Enter the sniper, he's calling the cycles. So enter the sniper, click, click, click. Time to be dedicated, sniper mode is activated. Explosions in the market are in target and Sheldon demonstrates. Mirror, mirror on the wall, Master Sheldon tell us all. We got Sheldon on the chart, so we never lose. Enter the sniper, sharpshooter advisor. Enter the sniper, he marks the charts right. Enter the sniper, he's calling the cycles. Enter the sniper, click, click. Enter the sniper. Enter the sniper.
Yo, Banter fam, what's happening? How we doing, guys? Pop in the comments. Where are you from around the world right now? As you can see, the show has started slightly earlier. Get used to it. I think the show is going to be half an hour earlier. Reason being is I need to get to you guys a bit sooner in the day. So we've got a little bit of room towards run show. So expect the show to be half an hour earlier. I started 15 minutes, 25 minutes earlier today. We're going to move another 10-15 minutes, and then I'm going to stay there. I promise you, I'm not going to disrupt your lives. I know many of you watch every single day. If you're brand new to the channel, smash the subscribe button, smash the like button. Remember, guys, we have these two beautiful watches up for grabs that we are giving away, the Rolex promotion that we have. We have the black, what are they called? Submariners. Submariner. Run says they're beautiful. I've never owned a Rolex in my life, so I'm still getting used to seeing these things. We got the black one and we got the blue and gold one. And the way it works, guys, is if you have signed up with Bybit, so if you have a look below in the description, we have a Bybit Rolex promotion. If you sign up with this exchange link and you take a trade, It qualifies you for one entry. The more trades you take, the more entries. My goal is to make sure you're winning all those trades. We got to win all these trades. That's the whole purpose of it. And then if you want the black one, which is the BitGet one, if you sign up with BitGet Exchange, I personally like the black one. I really do. I think it can match a lot more outfits. And you take trades. You stand a chance of winning that. We're going to be giving that before Feb, the end of February. And then we have other exchanges as in OKX and Binance. If you sign up with any of these exchange links, you get discounts on trading fees, which I'm sure you guys will realize if you're trading a lot now that makes a difference. And you will get sign-up bonuses. And remember, we have the VIP Discord group, which has kicked me out now, but I'll be showing you guys more of that tomorrow. All my show charts that I give you guys here, you find it there under the Sheldon the Sniper show charts. And then you got all my trades as well. We have all the different tokens, guys. All of these tokens that I speak to you about every day is all there. And you can find them all the time. So there's tons of alpha there. The only way you get into VIP is by using one of our exchange links. So, last thing, follow me on Twitter. Show me lots of love, guys. Show me lots of love. I started this again yesterday by giving you guys these videos. And whenever I'm not able to access a YouTube show, I'll be doing these videos for you guys, giving you a market update, and it will help you a lot throughout the process. So let's go through the big question. And the big question, obviously, is looking at Bitcoin on the higher time frame as we speak now. Are we starting to tap out? Are we starting to get a little bit of momentum loss? Are the bulls starting to weaken? Which is a big question to ask, because obviously we've had a massive rage of Bitcoin going from 16.5 all the way to 21,500 just in a few days. And if you have to zoom out, you can see that we are at quite a important resistance level. You know, we're back to levels of where the FTX crash happened, which is around about the 21,400. And I don't know if you guys have noticed, we actually smashed a little higher high over there. That little push that we got yesterday, which got us to around about 21,600, it officially showed that we now have a higher high, and we're above these previous levels over here, which is absolutely insane. So that is a really good sign. Secondly, what did happen throughout that time is obviously the 200-day moving average, another big one that we've been looking at. And so far, all we want to know now is when is the pullback happening? So what we've given ourselves is the three major ranges. We've given us that we know 21,500 is a massive range. We know the next one is 22,800, and then we have 25K. So these are more or less our upwards targets after this. And what I explained to you guys previously as well is expect fight at these areas. When we are through these areas, expect a beautiful momentum. So for example, now you can see there was no problem getting all the way up there. Now we're fighting a little bit of resistance. We're at a critical level. If we eventually solidly break through this, I don't see us having much problem getting to this area and then having possible fights over there. And if we get through that area, I don't see us having much fight here until we get to that area. So it's very important to understand that these resistances just show you where there's going to be a fight, where they're going to try hold levels and try stop the momentum, where the bears are going to try reclaim their sort of spots. So we have the understanding of the next important levels for Bitcoin. And obviously above that, we then have a huge gap to the 28. So this could possibly end up becoming a really beautiful run for us. And it's so nice to say that, you know, if we look at the extreme high time frames, you know, it's this little move over here. You know, there's still so much to go. So this is why it's important to have these basic skills and understand, you know, what you're looking at when the market gets bullish. I'm sure you guys can see now it gets pretty hard, right? The main thing of this is to not FOMO in and to be patient for your buys and understand where are the important levels. So now we have a basic understanding. Now the big question is, do we smash through here first? Does Bitcoin just not care what anyone thinks? Because everyone is expecting pullback now. Right? A lot of people are turning to that. And, you know, usually the market does the opposite of what people think. But for me still, if it's a natural, good, solid move from Bitcoin and it's not here to fake us out, we should pull back. And I'll explain to you now exactly our signs, but we want to see something like this, where we go here, we test the 200-day moving average. And from the 200-day moving average, we then shoot to the next target of 22, 23, maybe even to the one of 25. Then we pull back and then we move like that. Ideally, we want Bitcoin to do that. We don't want just this crazy, crazy run. And the only reason I'm saying that, it's not bad if Bitcoin just goes to 25K from here. It just gets extremely difficult. Because if you have this one massive push over here, you're going to have so much FOMO in the markets, and you're going to have so much buying in the market, and like everyone just aping in, that they're going to start coming with those crazy liquidation wicks again. And what you'll see is this is where it gets pretty tough, because it will just shoot up and you'll just get this massive candle that just comes down and then gets bought up straight away and then continues. Like, you're going to see a lot of that stuff. So we don't want that just yet. You know, we want that at higher levels. When we pass 25, then we can start getting into that crazy level. We want more of a natural flow throughout that. So the important levels that I'm looking at for pullbacks, as I said previously, is 19,500 is the 200-day moving average. Then what we have is we have one more major support that's around the 18,000. Now, the only way that I see us going to the 18,000, if it's a crazy liquidation wick. Many people are long in the market now, and if they want to liquidate people, I still think we close. Let's put the 200-day moving average. We could make our way down here, and we could absolutely wick and get completely bought up. This will liquidate or stop out a lot of people, causing a squeeze to the downside. And then from that, we can then continue, which is definitely like the scenario. But my two major supports on where I'm focusing on buying is 19.5 and maybe the 18.2. But I'm going to show you now the beauty of how we actually trade this. So let's jump into the scenarios and let's zoom in. Let's zoom in at what's currently happening at the moment. So firstly, what is quite crazy is we've had Bitcoin literally sneak its way up and actually managed to get some RSIs to the bottom, which is quite cheeky of it. Now, one thing I want to remind you guys is when the market turns bullish like this, we actually usually get the drops when the RSIs are actually tapped out at the bottom. So it sort of tricks you down here, and then you can still get this massive move to the downside. Now, remember, you're looking at 4 hour and it is showing RSI starting to make its way down. That's fine. At the end of the day, we're not getting the chart making its way down. So you got two scenarios. Either the market's looking incredibly strong, which I'll give you the points now, or there's a catch-up that's going to come very quickly. Because if we zoom out slightly, 8 hour, nearly hitting the bottom. Wow, Bitcoin, is this a nice little trick you're playing on here? But then we look at the higher time frames, 12 hours still completely at the higher levels of 62 to 70%. And then we even have the daily. Now, this is the scary one, because if you have a look at the daily here, look at this bad boy, just tapering at the top, tapering. So it's still showing that a larger time frame pullback is coming. Now, if I had to jot this out, what I'm basically expecting is I'm expecting that Bitcoin does not want to give up its momentum right now. We've clearly lost trend, and I'm expecting that from here, this is where the pullback should happen. I'm preparing for that. We're going to have emergency lines, which I'll show you now to see how far down we're going to go. But the way I see it now, the pullback is starting. That wick yesterday was a strong reversal candle on the 4 hour, and we can see that we lost this momentum. And these momentum lines have never lied for me. They've always played really big roles. Now, the way I look at that is, where are the major targets? And as I said, the 19.5 is probably where I'm expecting this move to happen. Now, I have a secondary emergency line. So what this means is now I'm slowly dipping my toes in either taking profits. Your long term, you decide on where your entry is. Long term, I'm not touching. I don't care about that. My trading portfolios, I've already been taking a lot of profits, but I'll be taking some here. Okay. But then I have, there's possibilities of taking shorts now and taking some trades. And for that, I need to be 100% certain. And for me to be certain, I actually track, instead of this whole move, I'm actually tracking this whole sideways move over here. And what you're starting to get is a beautiful uprising wedge, which technically is a bearish pattern. Even though we're moving up, we're not making much progress to the upside, and we are losing steam. And for me, that's showing me basically the $21,000 is support right now. And if we lose the 21K level and we finally close below this area over here, confirm to me that we are now starting the pullback to the downside. So keep this wedge in mind. This is my secondary one on where I'm actually looking to take bigger shorts or anything like that. There is some altcoins, that's fine. But if you're looking for Bitcoin and stuff like that, definitely I'm waiting for this one just to be 100% sure, because it is sending these crazy little wicks. And you don't want to lose stupid money in shorts by getting in now until you're 100% certain that we are making that momentum. And that's this crucial little line over here. But this is a bearish pattern forming. So I'm still definitely forming on the part of a pullback. Then the next interesting chart is this one, which is the dominance. Now, we obviously know dominance has been spiking up for a while, but it's looking damn strong again. And what it's showing me, which is absolutely crazy, that when the market pumped, dominance has been pumping with Bitcoin. And if the market pulls back, which it looks like it wants to do right now, it's showing that dominance could possibly break out again, which would obviously be a big thing for the altcoins. You can expect another big altcoin drop with it too. Now, now looking at that, I need you guys to understand where we're at now. I need to understand that firstly, this is the most important chart you must be focusing on if you want to make money on the next big move. And this is the total 3, the altcoins, right? And this is making a really beautiful bull flag. You know, a simple chart. Anyone can understand this. Let me just drink some water. Excitement's hitting me here. I love it when we have very simple charts like this because it's simple to understand. Very simple. But what we have is we have the total 3. Now, this last push of the total 3, it got it far, but it never got it that far. And reason being is it never broke through the 200-day moving average. So for me, the true altcoin pump didn't happen just yet. For me, this was an Ethereum and a Bitcoin pump. And if you ever go back to the restart of a cycle, it always starts with Bitcoin, Ethereum, altcoins. So for me, this little push from altcoins, it was impressive, yes, but it wasn't the true one. The big one comes to us when we finally through this area. And when we finally through this area, gives us an area of up to 20 to 25% of where we are now. If we pull back from here, you can see we have fights here, guys. Look at all these wicks. When you look at a high time frame, this is gradual good growth. But when you get to an area where you're fighting all of these wicks, look at the amount of wicks on the high time frame you're getting there. You can clearly see that we're at a very important stage. Now, for me, this is what I want. I want that small pullback. I don't think the altcoin pullback is going to be that big. You know, a 10, 15%. We'll go through the levels now. But from that area, that's where I want to capture altcoins. Because now, if I had to buy now, firstly, I'm buying at one of the most important high time frame resistances. But if I had to buy now, I'm only looking at a 15, 20% of the next major resistance. Maybe the altcoins end up doing a lot higher than that. But if I had to get it on the pullback, all of a sudden now I'm pushing a lot higher at 28, at 35%. So for me, it's way better to get it cheaper than where they are now for the next trade because they haven't even started just yet, which is great. So it may mean you may have missed the Bitcoin ETH pump. How many of you guys felt and sit and said, oh, I missed this pump? How many of you? I'm one of them. And I'm sure a lot of you, I see even the guys in the team here sitting, I missed this pump and this pump. No, you missed the Bitcoin and Ethereum pump. Never missed the altcoin pump. And that's the one that we got to be prepared for and make sure we are structured to do. So this still excites me very much, the total 3. And that's why I'm not surprised that the dominance is making another bullish flag to the upside. So it clearly states that that dominance is still making its way up. Now let's actually have a look at dominance on where this could actually move to. Because if I have a look now, it is fighting one more resistance. But what I'm seeing here is probably dominance making its way to this area of around 44 to 45%, which means I'm still expecting dominance to possibly make its way to the upside. Maybe there's a small test to the downside on a dump first, that's fine. But ultimately on the higher frame, I'm looking at dominance to go there. From there, I'm then looking at the altcoin push. So I still see that there's a little bit more time that everything is going to favor Bitcoin and favor Ethereum throughout those times. And then only the altcoin push. And that sort of matches up with my, you know, mid-Feb to March is where I see the AI run. And I see a lot of these things sort of playing out in that area. Yes, they're also going to move now. We're going to have fun trading them, which is great. But I'm expecting a really strong push from the altcoins throughout that level. So for me, dominance is still definitely playing the role. Now, let's speak about Ethereum because Ethereum's the big one. And then I'm going to jump into the altcoins. I promise, guys. I'll go through all the altcoins for you guys and look at the major ones that we're looking at. So Ethereum, for me, look at it now as we speak. It hasn't 100% broken trend just yet. But ultimately, I'll give you the level now. If Ethereum by today is below 1,560, 1,550, for me, it's starting to lose the momentum trend. The one that we've been tracking from the upside, and that should start its retracement too. And what I'm expecting is my first target is a 7 to 8% pullback in Ethereum. Then I have the next target, which is basically a 12 to a 13% pullback. Now I want Ethereum and I want more Ethereum, especially if I've been taking profits on altcoins to the upside now. I want to bank some more Ethereum because if you have a look even today, you can see how Ethereum dominance is going up today when the market's starting to look down. And what we're starting to see here is there might be a possibility of another dominance flag break soon. And we're still quite fast from support on the dominance, which is good. So it just shows that Ethereum is still looking incredibly strong today. And then the important one was if we looked at the ETH to BTC, it has done the beautiful test. It's broken out of this beautiful flag on the high time frame, and it has tested really nicely, and it is holding the 200-day moving average. That's going to be our sign, guys, is we want Ethereum over Bitcoin for as long as we hold that 200-day moving average, because we are still expecting as a first target of a 20% outgrowth of Ethereum to Bitcoin. And then we have the bigger target of up to 60% for the year of Ethereum throughout those times. So if you missed the Ethereum pump and you missed all of that, the next pullback on Ethereum, the one that's telling us on the charts, that's basically around the 1,430 to the 1,350. There's your areas on where you want to hold up ETH for your safer part of your portfolio. Do me a favor, guys. I'm about to go into all the degens and all the altcoins now. Split those portfolios. What are you not touching until the end of next bull run? And what are you adding to? And what's your trading portfolio? Split it. Don't have it all together in one basket, because I was happy. The market, I took profits early. I took profits really early. I had to be, caution, and I had to think smartly. But my long term pumped. Made a lot of money on my long term, and that's the beautiful part of it. Is you're never going to be afraid to take profits in your trading portfolio, because the market keeps pumping your long term. You're making money. It doesn't matter. You're being protective with one part of your portfolio. The other you're allowing to rectify if your trading portfolio doesn't do exactly what you need to. Now, let's jump into some of the altcoins and let's get going. Okay. First one for me, BNB, right? So the levels for BNB of where I'm pulling back, and I think, I'm speaking, I have new altcoins. I promise, guys, I have a fresh list of altcoins, which I'll get through to you guys, but I'm going to keep mentioning these because this is quality for me. These are ones to pay attention to, and these are good trades for you guys to possibly take. So you must love, if you're a beginner and you want to trade, this is a market you want to trade in, because it's just making very simple trades. Okay, it is wiki, and this is why you stick to the higher time frame. The 15 minutes, 1 hour is going to trick you, and it's going to be quite a mess. But when you see these beautiful flags and things like this, it gets really nice and structured for you. So what I'm waiting for here is you can see BNB is currently forming this bull flag. And if we close below this trend line, for me, it's starting its downward side. I want to catch BNB around 270 to 276, which is around about 7 to 8% cheaper than where we are currently. And this will be for a nice spot swing trade, okay? And it might even be a possible nice short for you. It means you have to be patient, though. Be patient with your shorts, guys. Don't get wait for the higher time frame breaks. And that's basically showing when it's below 297, anything like that is the areas of where we're starting to confirm this little pullback. Then we have the second scenario, because the market, Bitcoin may just explode at any point. We know that now. It's going sideways, but it may be an ultimate bear trap where they're making us think it's going to go down. And you need to be prepared for that too. Now, to be prepared for that is these beautiful resistance trend lines. Thank goodness we've been going sideways, because sideways gives us structure. It gives us a great view. Now, this is how you trade either direction, okay? If it drops down here, you're expecting this, a test here, and you're expecting a motion to the downside, which means if you're shorting, you'll enter some shorts in this area, and you'll have a stop loss above that high over there. Beautifully, and you're going to have your TPs. These previous areas over here is where you're taking profits. Don't be greedy, just take profits. It's offering you beautiful ranges. That's how we expect the short to play out if that happens, right? Then we got the different scenario. The different scenario is now we bounce and we break. Same thing. That's my trigger, test, and then go. And for me, stop loss is first here. And as we have confirmed that point over there, and we make our way up, you move your stop loss to that area for no risk in that area. Then what you do is you're first going to use the previous high as an area of where we could go for profits, for example, which are decent areas. But then you can zoom out and you can then look at where are the next major levels. Because yes, BNB is at this resistance, but look how big the gap is to the next. And if you end up getting your position there and moving your stop up, and BNB breaks this high, it has a big gap This is where the money gets made, is those huge gaps to the next area of fight, which is around about the $356 region. It's another 15 to 20%. That's huge. That's huge, even though we've just moved crazily at this point. So what you are doing is you are prepping yourself that we are expecting pullback. We do want it cheaper, but this market may trick every single one of you, and you need to have a prepared strategy for that. Now, the way I would do that is the second scenario of the bullish one coming into play. I would only use 50% of my trading portfolio. I would still wait for the other cheaper, because even after, if we break up another 20, 25%, which we can do, definitely, I will still have that money waiting for that extreme bargain at a later point. But don't miss the trade if it's there. Make the damn money. The market's moving. So this is beautiful. This is so nice for us to have such a beautiful structure. It's a lot easier now. Do you see I have two lines? Either way I break is the one that I move. So BNB is a great one. Now let's speak about the next big one, Solana. Technically, Solana should be starting its pullback now. Okay? Solana, I'm still expecting to go to these areas, which is more or less the $16 to the $18 mark. That's more or less where I'm looking possibly to dip my toes. Now, the way this is going to work, guys, and I want to explain this to you because you need to pay attention to it, is if this pullback happens correctly, don't expect it. Yes, if it happened, we got two scenarios. Either it goes extremely fast, then it bounces up here, and then it goes sideways for a bit and starts to make its way down, or it starts this laddering process downwards. Now, I want you to know something. This is not going to just bounce very quickly. If it starts this, the market's going to do this, and then it's going to go sideways for a while. Do you see what just happened? And this works in either direction the market moves. The market pumped, then went sideways, and then made a different sort of direction change, right? And the same thing would happen here. If the market pulls back, it's going to go here, it's going to go sideways, and then we can start road to recovery, which means when it gets to these areas, you can dip your toes, yes, but the best way is to track that trend line and get the next break to the upside. And the reason why I'm saying this is because you still have, think about it, the daily RSI is sitting at the top as we speak. So all of a sudden, if the market just shoots down over here, the RSI tomorrow is going to only be here. Let me actually move this out of the way so you can see it. Look at the RSI. There we go. So even if this shoots down, tomorrow the RSI is still sitting here, which means if you're dipping your toes and you're buying too early at this point, that still shows possible more RSI downside. So for me, when it comes down, I'm expecting to come down and actually go sideways, get these RSIs to the floor, and then we start the next push up. I just don't want you to get trapped. Don't be afraid to buy the red if the dip happens and it happens really quickly. But remember, you want it to fall, go sideways. You want to put the trend lines and then catch the break to make sure. Because if the RSI is still mid there tomorrow, nothing is stopping. And it is the truth of it. No bareness, no anything like that. This is experience we're talking with now. The truthness of this, if this can come down here in one day and the RSI is here, nothing's stopping it from dropping this and going there. Nothing. That's what I want you guys to avoid. That's the big lesson that I learned last year, a massive one that I want you to pay attention to. So Solana for me, let's speak about the trades and let's speak about the entry over here. So for me, Solana looks like it's making its way up, and hopefully, because I missed my damn short, I'm quite annoyed by it. I'm looking at shorting Solana in this area over here. Okay. Now, why am I looking at that? Firstly, it's a retest of the level we just broke, and I can see that there's a big gap here. And this gap is worthy of trading for me, because if I look at my entry, I can look at a 22% short. Okay. Now, short means either you can leverage it or you can have no leverage in short, or you can sell and get 20% more Solana. That's what a short means. Okay. But ultimately, that's worthy now. That looks like a really good one for me. Then what I have is I have my momentum trend. You see the trend that we are currently moving down at the moment. So my stop losses can be very tight over there. Minimal risk throughout this area. That's what I love. Beautiful. And that's my emergency line at any point to either get out or to go long, because Solana is not coming down anymore. So this one is structured beautifully for me in that area. So the way I'm setting this up is I'm hopefully looking at getting it around $23, and my stop loss will be above this area at around 23.6, 23.7. Guys, plot them around there. Don't put them all in the same areas and things like that. I'm just giving you plus minus figures, but ultimately put your stop loss outside of that trend. Then what I'm doing is I'm setting a TP. The first one I'm setting is at around 1850, and the second one's around about 1750. If you want it earlier, take it earlier. It's going to be really good. But this one for me looks good. And then when we get to these areas, I'm then going to start looking at longs through the area. But definitely Solana is one of them that's prepping beautifully for me now. And it's giving me the indication. The next one, which is not ready just yet, and hopefully this can save Run, because I know Run's been going through quite a stressful period because of this token, AVAX. So AVAX, let's not ignore that it's ripping. It's done brilliant. You know, it literally went from, what is it, in the last 18 days, it went from $10, you know, all the way to $19. So AVAX has obviously been ripping. But now what we want to pay attention to is, I never believe in these big gaps. I always know they come fill them at some point. And I still think we're going to get it around $13, $14. I definitely do. But for me, it's a great tradable token at the moment. And it looks really, really well structured. Now what we have over here is we have the trend line in play, and we are right there. And it's the same thing over here. If we close below this, for me, it's my entry, either in a short or for me to take profits, right? If you haven't taken profits just yet. And then what we have is a trend line that's tracking that momentum beautifully. And that's where it's called a stop loss line, guys. That's all that it is, okay? And ultimately, the way I'm looking at this play, if we lose this, it basically tests, and I'm seeing it ladder its way down to the areas of around here. Now, if we look at percentage-wise, we look at the areas from here to there, it's also an 18 to 20%. It's worthy for me. Now, let's look at where a possible stop loss would be. A stop loss would be around 2.6%, around about the 17.30. So for me, risk to reward is huge there. It's really good and it's worthy of the trades. Don't find a token that gives you a terrible risk to reward. Always structure that beautifully. But use this trend line in that area. And for me, this is a great trade. Now, it hasn't broken just yet, okay? Now, all of a sudden, the market goes green today and Bitcoin wakes up and we break this trend, okay? It's the same thing. Firstly, you are able to enter on the breaker trend with the small stop loss over here. So your risk is tiny. And then you need to zoom out and be like, okay, it looks like AVAX is not done yet. Where can we go? And you zoom out to higher time frames and you're like, whoa, okay, we stopped here at this little resistance. You know, this is probably the next area that we can go to. And if you have to have a look from where that breakout is to there, you know, possible 10, 15%. Now, the reason why it's important for you to zoom out and look at that resistance at where it is, because you need to be realistic with yourself. Because if you're going to take that long and say, I'm going to make 50% on this trade or anything like that, no, this coin has just done 80%. So there's a maximum 10, 15%. And for you, you're then going to say, okay, if I buy this now and I put a 2% stop loss for 15%, that's a risk to reward of 127. Okay, it's sort of worthy. But it gets you realistically thinking that it's a short-term quick trade. And you're not going to give yourself wrong expectations for it. So be very aware. So for now, I'm hoping to get the short, maybe a small long if we break that trend, but the short is what I want when we close below this trend, because that gap, look how big the gap is on the left side. Let's go into the next ones. ChainLink, not just yet. So not interested just yet, but I have an emergency line because ChainLink stopped randomly. It didn't go crazy. It still has a lot more to go. That's where I'm expecting it to go. So for me, unless we break that short, I'm not too interested shorting, but I have an emergency bull line. Boom. So ChainLink, take your time, buddy. No problem. Take your time. Take your time. Take your time. I want to catch that move. I want to buy on that break. I want to put my retest under there. So for me, ChainLink is not worthy of a short. It's worthy of prep this one, put your alarm in. Remember, if you've got a paid trading view and you go add alert over here, you can put your alert in. We've broken trend. Great. Wait for that break. It's looking more like a long than a short. It's just not ready to long just yet. That trend line is going to tell you when it's ready. So Link, let's look at NEAR protocol. NEAR, it's been exploding. So if we close below this area over here, wait for candle closes. They're going to trick you with wicks, guys. 4-hour, 8-hour, higher time frame closing of candles. This could possibly be looking at a possible short. And look at this. You take your trend to the top. Boom. That's your momentum line. Tight stop losses. If the market's going to drop, it's going to drop fast in that move over there. If we break that to the upside, it's worthy of a possible long stop loss under the areas. But then be realistic again. Look at what it's done already. And the next major resistance is maybe 2.6 to 2.7. So if you are and does show momentum, it's short TPs, 15 to 20%. It's already done so much. The short for me will be the bigger trade at some point, but I just want you to get used to zooming in and zooming out and zooming in and zooming out and understanding why you are doing that. Higher time frame, you're looking at realistic views. Realistic. Is it realistic for me to long? And if I do long, is it worth the risk? And how big could it move? And these sort of things, you know, and it's the same thing with the shorts. The shorts are way bigger now because the market's been ripping, but you obviously need the major indicators to break first. But for me, it's like link to near, link's the better long to wait for. Near's the better short to wait for over link. Do you see that? So you have the two different scenarios. Let's go through 𝗕𝗬𝗕𝗫, losing now as we speak. Okay, so for me, this one's very simple. This is how I would take this trade right now on the higher time frame. There's my momentum trend line. Okay, so for me, not much less than this, but this is my area to short. Anywhere now between 1.7 to the 1.71 in the area is my short level. My stop loss is around 1.73, so it's a 2% stop loss. Okay, because it's looking, because this trend line is great, and when we finally start to break and we start to move down, very quickly get your stop loss to your entry just to protect yourself, get rid of that risk firstly, and ultimately I'd be setting a take profit at 1.56 and 1.5. So for me personally, after this, I'm jumping on my BitGet now and I'm looking at adding, this is one that's there now, and I'm not afraid to take it. I have a stop loss in. Worst scenario, break, stop, no problem. We'll switch to long tomorrow and we'll get the next. No. But end of the day, we're starting to get the crack over here. And I can see it very much with this because RUNE has also done an incredible move. Look at this to the upside. It's literally come. Let's have a look. It's literally come from 1.25 all the way to 1.85. So for me, short, remember guys, market is bullish high time frame. So these things are quick and TP early down. Just take your damn profits because the market, after that, we need to breathe and we need to get the long because the longs are what we want. We want that big altcoin move. I'm just showing you guys the tools on how to trade this market. That's why I'm spending a lot of time on giving you trade setups, long or shorts, because learn how to use it. Theta looking strong, no momentum break there just yet. Look at this on Cardano. Beautiful. I'm looking for spot. I want to buy this around 29 to 30 cents. Right now, here's a flag. We break the bottom. It's a great little short for me to TP early in these areas. We break the top. We're going. And where will it go next? Let's have a look. Oh, 41 cents. That's huge. These flags are great, guys. This is a fun market to trade. It's a really fun market. So Cardano, either you're going to catch at 29 to 30 cents or the break of this 12-hour flag. And we're hitting that run to 41 cents. Beautiful. It has structure. It makes sense. If you jump to a token now and you don't see that it makes sense, throw it down the drain because there's a lot of tokens that make sense. Look at Matic. Should you be longing Matic right now? I'm going to ask the question. Put it in the comments. Should you be longing? You know what I mean? Like risk to reward. It's crazy. It's crazy. And people are doing it. You know, people are not. Let's put the momentum line in here. Look how near it is. It breaks that. A nice little short-term short. There's a 10% over there. There's a nice little 15%. And then we prep for the longs. Then we look at a 618. Let's take this from top to bottom. This could end up being a 12 to 15% retracement in Matic. I would rather buy this at early 80s. Early 80 cents, that's where I want to buy it. That's where it makes sense. Don't get trapped into this damn FOMO. Look at this. If you do know, remember guys, if you don't know how to short and you're still newbie, breathe. Paper trade for now, take your time. There's lots of times, even enter sniper school to help you a lot. But, you know, for me, I just want you guys to be realistic and be honest with the fact. This one would work in this way. If we close below here, is my trade. My stop loss is here. Why? Because there's my momentum trend line. And ultimately, I would expect to TP at these areas over here. Remember, you're going to find all of these charts in the Discord, guys. All of these charts will be in Discord there for you guys. So you will find all of these charts. So that's how to trade the Matic. Uni, we're going to pay attention to. I think Uni does come down to around 5.6, 5.8. But I think this is a big one you want to be buying for a slight swing hold, longer trade. Because the next target for me is $10. So if we can get anywhere in the mid-50s, you know, that could be a nice 70, 80% trade. We then have Fantom. Look at this. I just want to make sure you guys don't get trapped. You know what I mean? TP them. There might be some short-term trades. Fantom 26 cents. That's my buy. That's where I want it. You know, and same thing. If we look at it now, look how beautiful. There's the trend, guys. There's the beautiful flag for you. We break the bottom. Put a stop loss. Those who don't use a stop loss eventually stop trading. True facts. True facts. True facts. True facts. But this is beautiful. We drop this. You can be looking at a great one here. We break the bullish line. Fantom's going up. And where does it go up after that? The next major resistance. So let's go have a look. Let's zoom out. There we go. There's the next highs. So Fantom goes to 41 cents as the next target. Amazing. Amazing, amazing, amazing. So you can see the difference. Guys, is this making sense? Pop in the comments here. Is it making sense? Are you enjoying the education? Not only are we going to make money together, and I'm teaching you not to FOMO in like we did many times before. You know, are you understanding it? That's all that I want to know. Pop in the comments. I want to make sure. Then let's look at any other bigger ones. DOT, I think, is a big one that we want to be getting into. I saw Gala Games didn't stop. Let's actually have a look quickly at AI tokens. What's the AI tokens doing? Still hot right now. We're not getting our beautiful entries on this just yet. Yeah, definitely give the AI a little bit of time before we start to get that. And gaming's the next big one. I think we want to catch Decentraland. We want to catch Sandbox, all of these on the pullbacks. I think gaming is going to be a huge one. So guys, I want to jump back here and finish off strong with this. We'll go through, I'll find many other altcoins. For me to diversify to tons now, you know, we need to be sure. I want to remind you that the altcoin run hasn't happened just yet. And right now we're at resistance. And I want to remind you one more time, don't be afraid to take profits with any money that's valuable to you. Because the last time we were here, we came down. We also thought we were bullish then. We came down 28 to 30% the last time we were here. Just giving us a warning. Don't be afraid to TP. We'll get entries. We'll get lots of entries and we'll put stop losses and that's fine. But the last time was a big one. But for me, we're causing wicks. Only once we're above here, we're going to see a huge eruption. We're eventually going to see this dominance come down. And when we see this dominance come down, you thought the Bitcoin pump was big. You're going to see some big moves. And if we go back to the original chart, I actually think I deleted it by mistake. So I will redraw it all again. But I want to remind you guys is we've only just touched the tip of this RSI on the monthly to the upside. This could end up being a 200 to 300% move in some of the altcoins. This one over here. But it's going to get tricky. They're going to play wicks with you. You cannot FOMO in. We buy them at the right points. But this, so far, is respecting the previous cycles. The same time, the same everything. This can be an incredible year for us. Incredible year for us to make all of our cash back, to learn. And then next year in the bull run, that's where we become millionaires and we all hit it together. I want you to all to become millionaires. Love you all. Have a fantastic day. Smash a like, smash the subscribe button. Comment what's your favorite part. Do you enjoy the education? What do you enjoy? And I'll see you all on tomorrow's show. Much love, Ants fam.